This interview was recorded live on my morning talk show, The Morning Dish, on Lake 97.7 WJUL. This is Stuart Margolin, who was Angel Martin on the Rockford Files, and I am a huge fan of his. He recently passed away, and I felt like a lot of folks out here would like to hear this interview, being that I know there's a lot of Rockford Files fans out there and a lot of Angel Martin fans. So hope y'all enjoy this, and thank you so much for listening.
Y'all need to help Stephen Phillips out over there. Out the door and off the radio.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
We're back with you. We have got the Emmy Award-winning actor, director, and actually won 2 supporting actor Emmys with the James Garner Rockford Files as Angel Martin. Stuart Margolin, how are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Man, it is a pleasure to get to talk to you. I have watched you on TV for years and years and years, and you have had quite a career. You started in, 1961?
61 was my first, Mrs. G Goes to College.
Wow. And
it was called TV show, Gertrude Berg.
Right. And it's just been on and on and on. Of course, I knew you more as Angel Martin. Does people call you Angel today? Do they still call you Angel, or?
If they don't know my name, or if I say, "Hey, Angel," or something like that,
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
But it doesn't. I like it. I like that character. I always enjoyed playing it, and so I associate it with nothing but fun.
Yeah, that was a great part in the Rockford Files, but now
it was.
You was not in every episode. That's something that I thought was kind of. How many episodes a season was you in?
I did 5 episodes a year.
Wow. And most people
did in those days. I think they were doing 20, maybe 22, but something like that.
But the funny thing to me is that 5 episodes a year, and everybody thought that you were on the show every episode. You made that big of an impact. And
that's great.
My favorite part, of course, I like James Garner. I love the Rockford Files, good at watching it. But when you were on at that part where they were going to kill you and Jimmy with the some big mob dude was going to kill you, you're like, wait, no, don't kill us both. Just kill Jimmy first, and then I'll be around if you need. That was great acting. Yeah, great acting. And
he was a character.
Well, now, how did you? I mean, you played many different characters, and you nail them every one. I mean, you've been a lawyer with Richard Gere and different stuff, but like this, when you was 5 episodes a year, and when you went back, you nailed it every time as the same Angel Martin. Is that something that just comes natural?
I don't know, that part really. It just came to me. We had let me just think. I don't know if I can remember dates very well, but I did a show with Jim called Nichols.
Right.
Before Rockford. It lasted 1 season. It was actually Jim's favorite show. It was really good writers and directors. It was Jim and myself and a bunch of character people and a friend of ours, and Margot Kidder was in it. And it was a Western, and he played, it was kind of like Support Your Local Sheriff, I guess.
Right.
And so I was his deputy sheriff. And so I considered myself kind of like a desert rat.
Right.
So when that show ended, and about, I'm going to say 6 months later to a year later, I got a call from Jim and Mita Rosenberg, who was exec producer, and they had a new show. They were going to make a TV movie, Rockford Files. And so I was now an urban rat. So it was a similar relationship to Jim.
Right.
In as much as, and it just grew more so that his buddy, that we had been in prison together in Rockford. And so he knew who Angel was. But
you wanted to do 5 shows a year because you had other projects that you was working on.
Just about that time, I was starting to direct, and I'd been writing some stuff, and Jim and Mita both knew I wanted to direct, so we settled on 5 a year, and I directed a couple of Rockford Files, too. But I was starting to direct TV, and write, and I was very involved in the music business at that time, actually.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that is something
A
else.
songwriter.
Yeah, that's something else that I am thoroughly. You put an album out, and Stuart, An Angel Sings. That's what it's called, An Angel Sings.
Uh-huh.
I love it. I love the album, and I actually don't have one. I want one. I'm trying to get one. You need to re-release it because they're about $50 right now on eBay. So, you know.
Well, it was Warner Brothers, and there's a good story how that album got made. When I met Jim, I was writing songs. I was partnered up with a guy named Jerry Riopel, who passed a couple of years ago. He was my songwriting partner, and we wrote some other stuff. And a guy named Murray McLeod.
Right.
And so I was writing songs, and people seemed to like them, and we were over at A&M Records. So one day, Jim, this was, I think we had done Rockford, and so Warner Brothers called him and said, we'd like you to do some version of Maverick, but he wasn't the star, just would he appear in the one segment, and he said, why would I want to do that? And I said, well, just whatever you want, we'll do it. So he said, I want you all to make an album with Stuart Margolin.
Right.
Now, how's that for a good friend?
I'll guarantee you that's a big deal. Of course, a lot of folks don't know that, James Garner was a big country music fan. I even know, because I'm friends with, I never knew Waylon Jennings, but I know all of his people. I know, Jigger Bridges, they're friends of mine. And, of course, we just lost Richie Albright. He just passed away a couple of weeks ago with the drummer and all that. I know them well, but he actually toured with them for a short period of time. He said about killed him, but he was a big country music singer. So this kind of, I can see this.
Very much so. He had a house out in the valley, and man, there used to be some great country singers there and writers, songwriters,
right,
who could sing too. Weren't really known to the public, but they could write like hell, and they were great performers themselves.
Yeah.
John Connolly, I know. I walked in one night, and I'd never heard of him, never seen him.
Right.
Little guy sitting over there. He started singing. Oh, son,
yeah.
Man. It was great. And Waylon, and I have some fond memories of Waylon and Jesse and Jim, and we were on the road together. We met all in Denver and went out to Red Rock. I think Waylon was performing in Red Rock, and then anyway, it was a good time.
Yeah.
But that's he loved his music.
Yeah. I actually got a band I play. We've been playing for years. I ain't done no good with it, but I have a lot of fun.
Do you write?
I do write some stuff. Yes, I do have some songs.
Good.
They're not very good, but I like them. That's the way I look at it. You've got one down here we thought about covering, but we're going to have to change the words just a little bit because it's northbound. We need to change it to southbound because we live down here in the south. We need to.
Right. I like that song. That was written. I lived up in British Columbia for probably about 22 years, and so when I first moved up there, that was my kind of homage to coming north. So
well, now
that's how that got written.
The song "Silly Old Gigolo," that is another one of my favorite ones, and that.
Now that's written by Jerry Riopel, but everybody's seen. We went on the road, when I first made the album. We went out on the road, and we played one live performance, and that was at the Louisiana Hayride.
There you go.
Stayed at the David Motel where Elvis used to stay.
Right.
I grew up in Dallas, so I used to hear the Hayride a lot.
Yeah.
And that was a big thrill for me, and people were nice enough not to boo me or throw stuff at me.
Man, I thought you're great, man. I mean, your timing and your voice, you're right on it, man. And like I said, you got some good stuff. And like I said, you ought to re-release this because the album is actually right now on eBay. I think the cheapest one I found, $50, and I think probably when you sold it, they were about $8.
Well, that'd be up to Warner Brothers, but it'd be fun. I'm proud of it. I'm proud mainly because I helped put the band together, and there's a couple of players you'd never see together. Never in a million years. There's about 3 or 4 cuts where Byron Berline's on fiddle.
Wow.
Byron's world champion, I think, 12 years in a row back in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
And playing harmonica was Sonny Terry, one of the first people ever recorded playing the blues with Blind Lemon Jefferson in the 20s. Mm-hmm. And Sonny was blind, and he played with Brownie McGee, Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, and I used to lead him around when I was a kid because I was so crazy about their music.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But then Jimmy Messina on guitar and Paul Horn playing horn. It was a good group.
Yep. It was a good album, no doubt about it. But now you're still in the movie business. I actually, like I said, I'm friends with your son, Christopher Martini. We've got to know each other pretty well.
Right.
And y'all are still, I mean, your whole family is very talented because you got both I guess all your kids are in the movie business, and they're doing good.
All of them got in, yeah. They all, they went on location and said, I think I like this, you know. And so Max, the oldest one, is a writer too, but an actor, director, and he's co-starring right now in the George Clooney film Shooting as We Speak in Boston.
Right.
And Michelle, our daughter, is a costume designer, does commercials. Mm-hmm. I think it was 3 years ago she had 6 commercials on the Super Bowl.
Wow, that's a big deal.
And Christopher's, he's just waiting to break,
He's doing good now. You've got a new movie that you just released. I haven't seen it yet. I'm trying to find it, but you've actually released a new movie that you actually wrote.
That Chris directed.
Chris directed, but you wrote it. Is that right?
Yeah. It's called What the Night Can Do. I think it's on Amazon or Netflix. I can't follow that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they release films anymore. It seems like Netflix or somebody screens them at the same time you see them. Yeah. I did a film called Arbitrage with Richard Gere. You were mentioning, and that was one of the first films that I know of anyway that got released, went into theaters at the same time it was being streamed on Amazon. Right. And it was a good experiment. So maybe that was one of the early maps of how it works these days.
Right. I remember that. I mean, you was a lawyer in that movie, I think, right?
Yeah. I was kind of crooked lawyer,
Yeah. I don't know any straight lawyers. If you know any, give me a phone number. Yeah, we try to stay. Every time I hear from a lawyer, it costs me a bundle. You know how that goes.
Yeah, that's part of the game. If you have to deal with a lawyer, you better have some money.
Yep, I guarantee it. But you were in the heyday of the movies to me, and music, both movies and music, because
music for sure for me anyway.
Right.
And what I like, and the music business is great. All kinds, right. Rock and roll, rhythm and blues, country. All of it was really good in those days.
Yeah. It's all.
And I've just, I never. I haven't heard a lot recently that's new that.
No,
makes me want to dance.
No, it's all. I don't know. Country's not country. Rock's not rock. It's just kind of all blended together. But somebody's gonna come out and do something. But anyway,
someday, yeah. I keep waiting for that to happen too.
Yeah, another Buddy Holly's gonna come out, hopefully. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, listen, I have got to get to a break, and but it has been an honor to get to talk to one of my biggest heroes.
Well, I thank you for calling.
Yeah, I just think
I appreciate it, and hope everybody's doing good.
Yeah, Lord, yeah, we're getting fat. I'm gaining weight and losing hair, so you can't beat that.
Know what you mean.
There you go.
Take care.
All right, man, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.